So let's talk about The Devil Wears Prada 2, the sequel. It's 20 years later, and I only had one question. How do you bring the devil back after Andy already escaped? Because at the end of the first film, Andrea already walked away. She chose herself and her values, her future. So when they announced there was a sequel, my first thought was, what could Miranda possibly have left to teach her? And how did they get them back together? I am Vaughn Frazier, creative brand strategist, storyteller, and writer, and The Devil Wears Prada 2 isn't about fashion. Not really, at least. This film basically boils down to legacy and affirmation. And it's about people who quietly open doors for us even when we're not in the room. Now, before I get into the spoilers, let me say this. If you're expecting explosions, superheroes, or some massive reinvention of the franchise, well, that's clearly not what this film is about. It's more like running into an old friend 20 years later. Everybody's older and changed, and some dreams worked, some didn't. And certain wounds were never completely healed. And that's what made this interesting to me, because the movie isn't asking what happens next. It's asking what happens when time humbles everybody. And from a branding perspective, this movie did some really good things. See, Runway Magazine isn't just a magazine anymore. It's a symbol of the older media. It's luxury branding. It's authority, exclusivity. It was the voice that tells everybody else what was important. But we're living in a different world now. And in our time right now, people don't just want perfection. They want authenticity, transparency, connection, relatability, all that. And that's where Andy becomes so important, because she always represented something different. Even in the first film, she wasn't the fashion expert or the insider, a gatekeeper. Nah, she was the outsider, just a regular person. And she was always asking questions. She was the one looking for meaning underneath the image. And 20 years later, that's exactly what brands are struggling with today. People don't just trust the image alone anymore. They want some type of substance. And if you haven't seen this movie yet, go ahead and check it out, or you can see these spoilers I'm about to drop. So that's your spoiler warning right there, because we're about to talk some major moments. So one of the favorite things in this film is when Andy discovers something she never knew. The opportunity that she thought simply fell into her lap years ago, it didn't. Nigel recommended her and believed in her, and he saw something in her before she saw it in herself. And real talk, that hit me harder than any of the other scenes, because most of us can point to somebody in our lives who did that for us, whether that be a parent, a teacher, partner, mentor, friend, whoever. Hell, maybe even a coworker. Somebody who opened a door we didn't even know existed. And the crazy part about it all, sometimes we spend years giving credit to luck when somebody was actually advocating for us behind the scenes the whole time. And that's what Nigel did for her. And then you got Miranda. And this is where I was surprised, just a little bit. Because for 20 years, Miranda had been treated like an icon. She was a legend, a force of nature, the devil herself, right? Who wore Prada. But when that icon gets older, what happens? When industries change, what do? What happens when fear stops being enough? Because the devil, or Miranda's greatest weakness, was never competence. She was brilliant. Her weakness was people like Andy. And she